Today on the Summoning Circle, an interview with a top Magic the Gathering player who has recently been spending time with Gwent. Hey everyone, Vanitas here. I'm very excited about today's interview guest, Ondřej Stráský, also known as Straka3. Just 22 years old, he is a premier Magic the Gathering player. Only one player that has made his pro debut after Stráský has accumulated more MTG Pro points on the Pro Tour. His accomplishments include 2 Pro Tour top 8s and 2 Grand Prix top 8s. Stráský has recently been focusing much of his energy on Gwent, and in just 2 months of playing the game, he has reached as high as 10th on the pro ladder. And recently, he's also been trying his luck in tournaments, such as the Gwent Slam qualifiers. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. So let's give the listeners a little bit more familiarity with you. What's your background with Magic? How did you get started originally?
So I started playing Magic when I was like 12 years old, so it's like 10 years ago. I started playing in high school with my friends. They kind of like, everyone back then, everyone was playing in my class.
Oh, right.
And I actually didn't want to. I didn't really want to start playing because I didn't want to like spend money on a card game. And I got last minute convinced I was like the last person to start playing to buy some cards, and then like I got hooked, and I'm the only person who's like playing from the class. No one else is playing at all.
So how did you go from the last to start playing in your class to not only the top of your class but like the top of your country?
I was like a gradual process. Like I started playing at the start I was just playing my friends in the class, then they got boring, so we wanted to play some tournaments, so we went to like this local tournament, and then I started becoming better and better, and like the competition was enough for me, so I had to go to like Prague and other big cities in Czech Republic.
Right.
And then I started doing well there, and just kind of like moved on, and then then I just became really good, and I got a bit lucky.
So it seems like even from the start you had like high success rate, right? So you started beating all your friends, and then you went and beat everyone at your local tournaments. Was it just that easy for you? Did you just like have a understanding of the game, or were you?
It took a lot of time and like a lot of hard work.
Okay, so you were practicing. You're practicing quite a bit from the start.
Yeah, I mean, also like, it took 10 years or something.
Oh, of course.
Not 10 years, but like 5 plus. And I mean, there were some points that like when I finished my high school, I was going to attend like university, and I was like, I haven't been doing really well in Magic. Like I wanted to like have a like breakthrough, like do well at the Pro Tour level.
Right.
And I've never really done that, so I went to university. And I'm like, I'm probably gonna quit. And then I qualified for one last Pro Tour, which was in Hawaii. And I was like, I'm going to go there. It's going to be more like a vacation, but I'm going to concentrate on my studies. And then I went there, and I got incredibly lucky. I played quite bad at the tournament because I didn't really practice much. And I just like, it was the most insane streak of luck. And I finished in top 8, which is like huge in Magic.
Right.
And after that, I was like, so this looks good. Now I can like actually start being a pro. And I just like quit school and focused on Magic, and I managed to hit platinum, which is like the highest level you can achieve in Magic, and then it went on from there.
That's crazy. So you went from almost quitting to getting on a lucky streak and deciding that lucky streak was enough to go pro full time.
Cool. I mean, it was after it, like you have to work a lot, so I mean it's a lot of fun. Like I'm talking about it like it's my job, but on the other hand, it's like card games, it's still a lot of fun, even though it's like my day-to-day job.
Right. So let's go back just a little bit. At what point did you decide to start treating it like a job? Like where you were, instead of just playing all the time, maybe you started, I don't know, practicing more for, I don't know, winning tournaments rather than just, playing it as a hobby.
Yeah, I would say when I was like younger, before this first breakthrough, I was just treating it as like fun hobby, and I was like, I was in school and I didn't really have much to do. It's just school is easy.
Oh yeah.
And so I was just yeah, so I was just playing like Magic Online all the time at home and like the local tournaments and everything, and it was a lot of fun for me. And then like after this first breakthrough, I think I started treating it more seriously, and like I tried to take it as my job more than as just a hobby. Because you know, I decided to quit school, and I had to like tell my parents, look guys, I'm quitting school because I want to do this because it's a lot of fun and I think I might be good at it. And then, you know, you want to like kind of not fail after that one. And so
for sure. At the point you decided to quit school, about how much winnings did you have overall? Like, I mean, you could go to your parents with something like, I've won, you know, this amount.
Yeah, it was just this first tournament where I won like, I think the prize is $10,000.
That's
which is like
pretty substantial.
Yeah, especially in Czech Republic, like it's everything's super cheap here, so that's a nice amount of money. So
right,
yeah, I was like at the start I was like training as a like break from school. I was like, I'm going to take a year break. I'm going to try to do this, and if I fail, I can just go back to school, no problem.
For sure.
But then I top 8 another tournament like like a couple months after that, and then I was set.
Yeah, 2 top 8s. I mean, I took a look at, you know, how other players have done, because you're still pretty young for the scene, just 22.
Yeah.
And there's only one player who debuted after you that has more points than you on the Pro Tour.
Yeah,
so that's
I believe that.
That's very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, Magic nowadays is more like old people's game, I would say. Like, I'm still like one of the younger people. Because you know like with game like Magic, it's like 25 years old almost, and like there's still a bunch of people who started playing it at the beginning and were teenagers like I was,
right?
And they are still playing it to this day, but they are still good because you know like it's not like in sports and like in like other games like Counter-Strike and League of Legends, like your skill doesn't get worse, you know.
Yeah.
You don't like reflexes don't get worse or anything. It's just all in your mind, so you can play like however long you want.
Right. It's more like chess in that way, where you have the old standbys who just get slightly better every year, but then someone like you comes along and young and takes the world by storm, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of at a disadvantage because you know the experience actually counts for a lot. So
right,
you need
there's so many
you really
cards.
Yeah, you need to get lucky. So I did. So
yeah,
good for me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was watching. Preparing for this interview, I was watching some of your interviews and games on YouTube, and just seeing you talk to this kind of rotund, shorter, older guy about your, I think it was a red-green deck a couple years ago, and he's just so excited talking to you about it. But there's not very many games where you see like a younger person talking to, you know, a veteran like that, and they're both excited about about it the same way. Like you only see that
would be, that deck was amazing. That was like the best deck I've ever played. That was an awesome tournament.
Yeah, you were smiling like the whole time you were explaining the deck.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was great.
That must have been one you were really proud of.
Yeah, indeed. That's like my favorite tournament. So.
Oh really? That's good. I also saw you. I watched a match you against Brian Kibler. And
oh yeah,
I'm sure anyone that's playing Gwent knows Brian Kibler from Hearthstone, if not Magic. And you beat him in that tournament or in that round.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nowadays he doesn't play Magic at all, but he's like in the Magic Hall of Fame. He used to be very successful in Magic. Yeah. So like he just basically shows up for tournaments and like he doesn't practice a lot. So I mean he's actually like someone you actually want to play against. You know, he's like obviously very smart and very good. Like if you don't practice, and it actually like you need to practice for these big tournaments.
For sure.
Like so that was nice. Brian is a great guy.
Yeah. I mean, even if he's not in top shape, that must be exciting to beat, you know, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
It is obviously great.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we've got a bit of your background with Magic. So how did you first hear about Gwent, and who brought it to your attention, or how did you get interested in it?
So the first person that like brought it to my attention actually is my roommate. I don't know if you know him. His name is Stan Sivka. He's like a Hearthstone pro. He's one of the best Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I played Hearthstone before, so I'm familiar with the top names. Yeah.
So yeah, so Stan is like he's very good friends with Life Coach, and
Okay.
like him and Life Coach talked about Gwent, and like Life Coach is very hyped about Gwent,
Yeah, he's
and
hosting tournaments at his house.
yeah, and he loves Gwent, so he's like, Stan, you should come and play this, and Stan's like, well, I'm doing well in Hearthstone, but
Right.
then he like passed the message along to me, and I had like some free time between Magic tournaments, like there was like a 2 months period in the last 2 months where nothing really happened. So I was like, yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna give it a try, and yeah, it's fun. So I've been playing a lot.
Cool. Yeah, you've played quite a few games. I think you have over 1,000 games on Pro Ladder, so you've been
Oh.
spending a good amount of time on it. Getting up to top 10, I think, was your peak.
Yeah. I beat the top 10 now. I think I'm like 11th, and I'll need to push for the top 8, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think if you want to qualify for Masters, the top 200 are going to be invited to a tournament. So that's your last, the Worlds, last chance to qualify for World.
That's gonna be hard, I guess. The top 200 best players. So.
Yeah, that is a tough tournament. So, what do you enjoy about Gwent as compared to other card games you've played?
I don't know. It's a lot different. I've been just playing a lot of Magic, and this is like for me, it's like a new and refreshing thing.
Yeah.
Like the rules are different. I think with the way, like how many cards you draw throughout the game, like you basically, there are some games that you just see your whole deck.
Right.
So
right.
that reduces variance a lot, and so that's been great for me. It's just. I just like it. That's just like it's something different from Magic and like Hearthstone, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different. I'm not aware of any games outside of a typical 52 card deck where you take best 2 out of 3 and you have to manage your cards. It's a very interesting game in that way. Have you mostly been building? Have you tried building your own decks, or are you mostly just playing the standard decks at this point?
I don't think of myself as much of like a brewer. I don't really like to brew decks from scratch, but I mean, I usually just try to like scour the internet for some interesting deck ideas, and then like I play a bit with the deck. I change some cards around,
right?
But I'm not like the person who's just gonna come up with like his own great idea, from the scratch. So
yeah, it's very rare that a player is both at the top playing and comes up with great decks from scratch.
Yeah,
as long
those
as
players are usually the best.
That's true, because they can come with those original decks come tournament time that can compete with anything. But most of the top players, they play the standard decks, but they know how to adjust them to the meta, and you've done that well enough to rise from a brand new player to the top of Pro Ladder in a very short amount of time.
I mean, it's interesting, this game, like with the way like your silver and golds are limited,
right?
Like even changing like 1 silver or 1 gold is like a huge change to the whole deck.
Oh yeah,
like in Magic, like in Magic, like if you change 1 to 5 cards, it doesn't really change your deck much, but like in this game, if you change 5 cards, like you basically have a
brand new
completely different deck.
Exactly. Yeah, Magic, I mean, sometimes you wouldn't even draw those cards, so it wouldn't matter, right? You maybe refine down to 1 or 2 cards, but they never even come up. So you tried your hand at the Gwent Slam qualifiers. What do you think about Gwent as the tournament format of the different factions and conquest?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for me, coming from Magic, it's very different, because in Magic you just play with 1 deck the whole tournament,
right?
And like I believe like for Hearthstone people or something like that, they're like used to it because they have conquest there and they have the different classes and everything.
Yeah.
But for me, it's very interesting, and I like this format more, I guess, than in Magic, and also like the fact that on the Pro Ladder you also have to play with like all the factions,
right,
to get better. And I guess it was kind of a downfall for me in this Gwent Slam tournaments, though, because I felt like I was really prepared with monsters and Skellige, but I didn't really prepare well with Nilfgaard. I tried I tried to make some other decks work, and then I kind of ran out of time, and I didn't.
Right.
I knew like Spies are like really good deck.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind kind of complicated. Like you can just like pick it up and like expect to be really really good at it. You need to play like, I don't know, 100 games or something.
Yeah. Even as a very good player, it's a very complicated deck.
Yeah. So I just picked it up with like 1 day practice, and I don't know. I feel like at least in one of the qualifiers, I should have won my Nilfgaard game that I lost. So
yeah,
I got punished there.
Yeah, I think playing a conquest format, even if you're used to playing Magic tournaments, it's a different thing to prepare for also, because you have to win. You have to win with all your decks, and your opponent has to win with all of their decks. So yeah, it's a tough format.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it'll take me some time to like learn, how to prepare for these tournaments, because I know how to prepare for Magic tournaments. I think I'm pretty good at like picking the deck I need to like beat the metagame, but it's gonna be quite different in Gwent. So if I want to be good, I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, in Magic, you have to think a lot about the metagame when choosing your deck, right? And then just practice it against the meta decks. But in Gwent, you have to think about not only the metagame, but the metagame as it relates to the format and the decks you choose. So
Exactly.
It took me a lot of time to think about the decks I was going to take, even though I didn't think I had much of a chance to make it myself. So now that Eternal Weekend is coming up, you're going to focus your attention back on Magic. How do you see Gwent being a part of your professional life going forward?
I mean, I think it's going to depend on how well I'll do at the pro ladder. Like, if I can manage to qualify to some of the Gwent Masters tournament, I might actually just like play more Gwent.
Interesting.
Like with Magic, I figured I have like some free time right now, and like the way the seasons in Magic work, like you have a whole year to like pick pro points, and then you get like your pro level status based on that. So like it doesn't matter that much to me. Like I can actually like sacrifice like half a year, and then I think I can like pick it up at the end. So like I think I'll focus a bit more on Gwent. But I mean, I'm still like I don't know, I'm doing Magic content, so I mean I'm actually like still playing some amount of Magic, and I love Magic. It's a great game. So I'll still be doing some Magic, and I'm really excited to like I'm flying to the States like the day after tomorrow. And I'm going to be there for 3 weeks playing a bunch of Magic tournaments, like meeting my friends. So
that sounds awesome.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Magic's much bigger than Gwent at this point, so you have a lot more opportunity to travel with Magic, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're interested in sticking with Gwent going forward, at least for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing the game for like 2 months, and I mean, you can see that I've played so many games. It's so much fun for me.
Yeah.
And it's like something fresh, something new. So I mean, I can see myself sticking with Gwent and see how big it gets.
Yeah, I totally understand. I avoided Gwent for a while because I thought I couldn't pick up another card game after Hearthstone, and then once I started playing, I just couldn't stop. So yeah. I know exactly how you feel. So is there anything you'd like to tell Gwent players that might be interested in Magic? Maybe maybe Gwent's their first card game, and they want to get into the original and the biggest.
Well, I think Magic is very different from all the online games, because it's based on actual like cards. It's like it's a very, I would say Magic is like very social experience. Like right now, like for me, the most important thing about Magic are actually the people. I've met a bunch of my best friends throughout Magic, like all the biggest Magic tournaments. I like basically treat them like, I'm going to meet with my old friends, and it's going to be a blast. So like, I think Magic is like when, you just play usually in your home, like when you have some time. You just play some game online with like total stranger, but Magic is actually like very social experience. So like if you want to do that, I mean, Magic is as a game, it's 25 years old. It's a great game. It's like very well thought out game. Like the game designers have been doing this for many years. So as a game, I think Magic is great, and it's very deep.
Right.
Because you have all these old cards, you have like thousands of cards, so you have a bunch of things to pick from, and there's a bunch of cool stuff there. So
yeah,
like I mean, if you want to have another like big time consuming thing, yeah, I'd suggest to give Magic a go.
Nice. Yeah, that's very interesting. I've never been into Magic myself, so the social aspect is pretty appealing, I guess. Although I imagine it's much harder to practice when you can't just hop online and play a game against equally skilled opponents so quickly.
Well, I mean, you can do that. I think Magic Online it has a bunch of flaws as a program. It's not
Right.
It's not as good as Hearthstone or Gwent. But I mean, you can still play there, and like I think the competition level at Magic Online is actually pretty high. It's not that bad.
So the other way around, what would you like to tell Magic players about Gwent if they're thinking about picking up a different game?
I think it's like the same as it was for me. You know, it's just if you like getting bored of Magic a little, if you've been playing for a bunch of years and it's not as exciting, you could and you don't like Hearthstone, which is obviously another option.
Right.
You can give Gwent a go because it's a bit different from the other games, and it's very interesting and fresh and exciting.
Yeah, or RNG Stone, as a lot of people in the community like to call it.
Yeah,
I can understand why a lot of Magic players look down on Hearthstone, even though I think it's a
I mean, it's for Magic people. I think they're like Hearthstone is obviously a huge competitor for Magic, so I think that's maybe why the Magic people don't like it as much. Obviously, it's also a lot simpler than Magic, and then
right.
You get like, yeah, we're cool, we're playing the more, the harder game, and so that's why we like look down on you. But I think Hearthstone is great, and I'm happy that like Blizzard created something like this, because like you can see right now there's like a bunch of things going like that started because of Hearthstone. There's Gwent. Yeah. There's going to be the Wolf game Artifact, like Magic is actually like trying to do something with the MTG Arena, which I think is going to fail miserably, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, I was just watching a stream of the MTG Arena earlier today, and the UI is still not very good.
Yeah,
not very appealing.
I mean, Magic has a long history of like not doing online stuff very well. They have the offline. Like I think they're really good at like all the offline aspects of the game.
Yeah.
And like game design, I think they're really good at game design. But online things not so much. But I mean, obviously hope that MTG Arena goes well, because it will be great for me. Like if it's
for sure.
If it could compete with Hearthstone or Artifact or Gwent, it'd be amazing. But I don't know. I'm kind of worried about that.
Yeah. Well, maybe Magic's better just being the king of the offline games.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe well, thanks for having this interview. Is there anything else I didn't ask you that you'd want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good. I just like to thank CDPR for creating this great game, and I actually really like what they're doing with Gwent Masters. I'm really happy that they're focusing on the professional aspect of the game, which to me is really cool, because it actually forces me to compete, and it's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I think that's great also. I know a lot of people are complaining now about the lack of variety and the lack of content that will bring in new players, but if they get the professional side first, then once they release out of beta and they release the single player stuff, then they'll already have all these professional people who take the game seriously to say this is a great game. So I think it's good that they're focusing on it first.
Yeah, I think they do need to do something like the Throne Breaker and another game mode pretty soon.
For sure.
But I'm happy that they're doing the pro stuff so early on.
Yeah, it's created a great competitive scene already.
Yeah.
So where can the listeners to this interview find you around the internet, and how can they follow you playing Gwent and Magic going forward?
Yeah, I think the best way is just my Twitter, which is at Ondřej Stráský, just my name. And I'm writing weekly articles on channelfireball.com, but they're just about Magic, so that's not really great. And I wrote a guide on GwentDB, and I might be writing more deck guides in the future, so you can like check me out there if you want. If you want some Gwent content, if I have like a deck that I think it's good, you know, I had the monsters deck which I was like winning like a reasonable amount with on the pro ladder, so I made a guide about that, which was a slightly bit different from the other decks. And so yeah, if I have like a same deck in the future that I like feel very confident about, I'm gonna write about it.
Great. Well, we're gonna look forward to seeing more great Gwent play from you going forward.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for the interview, and I'll talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks again to Ondřej, and thanks to all of you for listening. If you're a Magic the Gathering player interested in trying out Gwent, I have a link to download it in the description. If you're a Gwent fan listening to this podcast, I hope you've also become a fan of Ondřej, and will cheer him on in the future. If you'd like to hear more interviews with players and others in the Gwent scene, subscribe to the Summoning Circle podcast on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. I also create Gwent guides and commentary on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/vanitascabal. Links to Ondřej's Twitter and all of my content will be in the description. Until next time.